Greetings, and welcome to the first annual Pacific Northwest Multicultural Reader Series and Film Festival, with live events powered by Zoom Catchers. Thank you so much for being here today. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Cycerli, who will be presenting on the topic of audition techniques. During this presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box. Cicely, take it away.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Cycerli, and I was asked to do a little seminar on audition technique. Now, I've been in this industry for a while now, and I know a little bit about audition techniques. That's what we do as artists. And for those of you that may not know me, I have a theater degree at Rutgers University, and I went on to get my master's in acting from the University of Tennessee. And I now reside in Portland, Oregon. And so the biggest thing that I found when it comes to audition technique is the golden rule is simple, grounded. And that's one thing that a lot of the casting directors, they actually put in the notes of being grounded and simple, even if it's comedic. So I just want to go over some very specific tools you guys can utilize when you think about auditioning, when you think about how to prepare for your audition, okay? So the first thing is we have a couple types of auditions, right? We have in person, which has been a trial for us, especially in 2020, 2021, because of things that are happening in the world. So a lot of it has reverted to video auditions, submissions. And so a lot of times when my agent sends me over an audition, it's very specific of things that they want. Prime example, when you're thinking about an audition, you think about your technique, how you look, what you wear is very important. So I purposely put this color on because for me, it highlights my skin tone. I think it looks great on my figure. And this is one of my pieces that I wear for an audition. So what you wear is very important. So what I put in regarding, what to wear for an audition is neutral colors that complement your skin and your body shape. Things to stay away from is the color white. For some reason, cameras, they just do not like white, okay? Yeah, I don't know the statistics and the science behind it, but they say stay away from white, black, and a bright red, okay? So those are 3 colors to stay away from when you're doing an audition. Another thing is pastel colors. So those very, very bright colors, kind of stay away from those as well. And anything with a lot of patterns. So if you have stripes, if you have boxes, if you have, logos, Nike, Puma, just kind of stay away, because the point is you don't want anything distracting the director or people that are watching, the producers, from your audition, okay? You want to be as clean slate as possible with the suggestion of your character you're portraying, okay? Hair and makeup. So I bought a couple of my headshots so you guys can see when it comes to an audition, you want to look like your headshot. So now this is, I wouldn't say clearly a weave, but it is a weave. And I love this weave because I think I look fabulous in it. But if my agent sent me an audition and she sent this headshot, which is natural look, if she sent this type of headshot to the clients, they don't want to see this. They want to see what you look like regarding the headshot, because this is what they're asking for. So I would say when it comes to hair and makeup, make sure that you look as close as possible to your headshot as possible, okay? If you have straight hair and they like this look, do the straight look, okay? Whatever it is. So make sure that whatever your agent sends you in, whatever you submit yourself for, if you have a headshot that complements you, try to look like that. The next thing is natural makeup. So for me, I have natural makeup on that highlights. Is not too much, but it depends on what character you are auditioning for. So I had an audition for The Walking Dead. People may be familiar with that show. And this is something you don't do, because this is when I was very young and immature and I didn't know to do this. So I had an audition as a doctor. So I was like, oh, a doctor. And before I even read about the show, before I even saw videos about the show, I just put on a white coat because I'm like playing a doctor. I put my makeup on, all beautiful, and had my hair all suave. I kind of looked like, I'll show you a headshot that I put in, kind of looked like this. Now, if you know The Walking Dead, it is grit and grimy and grounded and all these things that I did not do. So my agent called me up and said, Cycerli, did you do some research on The Walking Dead? And I'm like, no. And they're just like, yeah, you got to look at it. And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh man, it's that type of doctor. So I wiped down my makeup. I put my hair up kind of curly a certain way. I put on a t-shirt and I kind of portrayed that character for that culture of The Walking Dead, okay? So when you get an audition, make sure you understand what environment you're under, okay? So it's very important. So it's important not to dress exactly like the character, but it's important to suggest that character. Prime example, if you are auditioning for a bartender, you will not show up to your audition in a suit. No, you'll show up as a bartender, you know, well, depending on what type of place or restaurant it is. So just keep that in mind, okay? You want to do some research and you want to do some studying on the environment. Awesome. Next thing, we're going to the slate. So every audition, you have to slate. Typically, they just need your first name, your last name, and your height, okay? Sometimes they need your agency and sometimes they need your location. So this is what not to do. So, hi, my name is Cycerli and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I am I'm 5'8", and I am, okay. So the reason why we don't do the hi, it's a slate, business, business, business. So the proper way to do a slate, you would think is very bland, but it's the proper way. So the proper way that I've learned to do a slate is Cycerli Ash, 5'8", Portland, Oregon, Q6. That's it. It is, here it is, here it is, here it is. And I know you're probably like, well, I want my personality to come out in my slate. Think about it. They are auditioning hundreds of people for your character. And if everyone is like, hi, how you doing? My name is, after a while, they're just like, okay, just give me the facts, okay? So just keep that in mind that they are looking at these auditions and they are swiping. They are going through them, okay? So get to the point. Cycerli Ash, 5'8", da-da-da, da-da-da, okay. So we have different types, commercial. When you do a slate for your commercial, sometimes they want to see your hands and sometimes they want to see your profile. So if that is the case, you would do, my case, I would be Cycerli Ash, 5'8", Q6. And then I would show my hands. And then I would put them down and I would do one side and I would do the other side. Okay? One thing they don't want to see, I don't know if you can see this, but this is acrylic. These are acrylic nails. The jobs that I have booked, Home Depot, Capital One, they were just filming my hands. I had to take my nails off and get just a simple manicure, okay? So they don't want to see tattoos or anything like that unless they specify that they want to, okay? So it's very specific. They want to see the back of your hand, the front of your hand, profile, and they'll tell you. Now, when it comes to a full body shot, there are some directors that do not like for you to pan. What does that mean? It means when you're doing an audition and you do your slate, Cycerli Ash, 5'8", Q6, and you do your hands, you do your profile, and then they say they want a full body shot, do not pan. Pan is when you take the camera up and you scroll it down and back up. Some people don't want that, some are fine. So what I would suggest is that you step back as far as you can, a person that's there, or you can have a remote for your phone, and you take a snapshot of it to show your full body shot, okay? Now for me, in the confines of my home, I have to separate my slate and my full body, because if I stand up, this is what you see. You don't see my full body. So I have to move the camera back, get in position, make sure the lighting is good, and take that full body shot, okay? So that's important. Now, if they don't specify and you can do a pan, then you can stay right here and you can have that person just, you know, Cycerli Ash 5'8", and you just do a nice pan and back up, okay? Great. Types of auditions. You have your commercial, you have TV and film, you have theater, those three. let's do commercial. Commercial is wide stream. I mean, it's everything. You know, you have print, you have hand commercials, you have hair commercials, you have skin commercials, clothing commercials. I could just keep going, product commercials, you name it. So there are different types. After this seminar, I literally have 4 auditions that I have to get done, and they're all commercials, and they all want specific things. Now, there are non-speaking roles. It doesn't mean that it's lesser than or anything like that. It's just that maybe they have a voiceover going and they want to see how you react to something. So in that case, I always say, when you have your camera set up, look to the right or to the left. So if they want a reaction, they'll tell you what you're reacting to. So it's fall, kids are going back to school. So if my character was a mother and I'm seeing my little one go off to school for the first time, you know, my reaction and that might be my audition. And then the second part may be like, and you see them come home. So my reaction may be, you know, it might be something like that. And that's all they need. They just give you a little scenario and they say, hey, how would you react to this? And that could be your audition, okay? So that's something. What I always suggest is put a little time at the top and a little time at the bottom. What does that mean? Do not start your action right away. So if you put start on that camera, give it a beat, then do your action, and then have a beat after. Another one for commercials, improv a scenario. This is what I just had to do, so I'll use it. So this was a commercial where these clients wanted me to go shopping. And I had all these bags, stuff in my hand. So I am just like filled with bags. That's what it is. And then I'm going through a tight little door. So I'm walking, feeling myself because I just went shopping. And then all of a sudden I hit a door that is a lot smaller than all these bags. So they wanted to see the comedic element of all these bags. I'm so excited, I'm feeling myself. And then I hit this little small door. So that's all it was. That's all the audition, you know, that's all it was. So here I had my bags and I'm like, oh yeah, this is okay. You know, you're just figuring it out, okay? So you're literally putting the scenario in your mind and acting it out, okay? Another one is talking on the phone. Now, I get the question all the time, can we have a phone? Can we have props? Typically, the answer is no. When you're doing an audition, you try to not, but a phone, it's just, it juggles. So usually a phone is okay. That's probably the one prop that is, you know, it's okay. And so I don't mind that. So when it comes to being on the phone, instead of doing this, you have an actual phone and you're just talking on the phone and, you know, you just having this moment. The biggest thing is your eye line, and we'll get into that later, but it's having this conversation, making sure your head stays up, making sure you're not this way, and making sure you're not profile, because they don't want to see your profile during your audition. They want to see your entire face. Keep that in mind. And then you have these auditions, which is more and more of tell us about you. This is a big one. A lot of times my students will be like, okay, so what do I say? I love to act, I love to sing. And yes, that may be the case, but they know that you're auditioning. So they have an idea that you love to act, and it links into singing and links into dancing. So those three, it's like, okay. But when they say, tell us about you, tell us something different about you. So these are things that you can utilize when they have this audition that says, hey, we just want to get to know you because we want to audition and we want to cast real people. Tell us really who you are. So these are some of the things to think about. Have you traveled? Have you been, you know, across the country? Have you went to Rome and Paris? Did you take a cruise? You know, like, tell us about that. Are you bilingual? That's huge. If you know different languages, I am learning sign language at the moment because I just want to advance my skills. So if you know another language, that is big. If you wrote a book, you know, if you're a poet, if you play an instrument, that is big. I played the trombone in high school. And that is it. So if you play an instrument, the piano, the guitar, the drums, put that down. That's something that they say, tell us about you. Hey, I've been playing the guitar for, such and such years, and I still can. Do not mention anything that you do not do now, okay? Because they might be like, oh, you know how to speak Spanish? Okay, can you put that in? You're just like, oh, wait, no, that was back in like middle school. And it's like, nah, don't do that. Actually be able to do that. And then any special skill. So what I usually do is I talk about the fact that I have a black belt. I have a black belt in martial arts, Hapkido. That's something that has to do nothing with acting, dancing, or singing. It is separate. And I also was a Division I athlete. That's something different. I was a Division I athlete at Rutgers University, and I still have the record in the discus. My body frame does not look like a thrower. That's something different, exciting, of like, oh, okay, tell us about that. So keep those things in mind. All right, so those are film. Big thing, anytime you're doing on-camera audition, the phone needs to be horizontal. I know it's natural to do it like this and be like, oh, no, phone needs to be horizontal, okay? If you're using a camera, great, but no matter what, make sure it's horizontal. TV and film, here we go. If you get an audition for a television or film project, make sure you are familiar with the script. Don't do what I did with The Walking Dead and just be like, oh, a doctor, and just do a generalization of what you think the character is. No, do some research on the script and your character, okay? Be familiar with your character. So usually, this is not all the time, but usually when you get sides, which is a little snippet of the scene, you will get a character breakdown. The character breakdown is telling you a little bit about your character and who you are. And maybe it tells you about other characters you're in this scene with. And if that is the case, read all of them, because you'll have an idea that if I'm in a scene with, Kathleen, and Kathleen's my sister, and I can't stand my sister, then I'm not gonna be like, hey, Kathleen. I'll be like, hey, Kathleen, how you doing? Your personality would change based on the breakdown of the characters, okay? So make sure you read the character breakdown. Eyeline, okay, this is important. So when you're doing an audition in person or on video, it is very important to keep your eyeline up. So if I'm talking to a person, and it's just one person, I might pick a point. So in my home right now, I have this coffee mug that is on my kitty tree. And it is not profile. It is not too much as I'm looking at, or if I'm looking at the camera, but it is right to the right, my right of the camera. And so if I have my character there, that's where my eye line is. So if I'm talking to you, we're having a wonderful conversation and we're getting to know each other, that's how it is, okay? So have it be this dynamic versus this dynamic, or right into the camera. Now, are there times where you speak into the camera during audition? Absolutely. I'll give an example, a reporter. If I am, hi, my name is Cycerli, Cycerli Ash, 5'8", Q6, Portland, Oregon. Welcome to da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I'm looking straight into the camera. Why? Because reporters look straight into the camera. So that may be a reason to look straight into the camera. Other than that, keep it to the right or the left of the camera. If you have different characters in one audition, same thing. How was your day today? Good, good. And yours? It was good? All right. So what'd you guys do? Oh, you did a lot today. Okay, well, tell me about it. Oh, did Daddy do that? I told you not to do that, but okay. No, it's okay. It's fine. So I already established that there is one person I'm talking to and another person I'm talking to. And just based on where I'm looking, also show status, like obviously this is my child and this is Daddy over here that I'm messing with. So let that be something that you do very specific if there's more than one person in your audition. I said this before, when it comes to film and television, make sure you have a moment before and a moment after. Prime example. If my scenario was getting ready for a wedding and I just found out that my husband is not coming, and I have my beautiful dress on. And my first line is, I can't believe it. This is something that I may do. This is staring at me. I can't believe it. It's ridiculous. Does he even think about anybody else besides himself? You see what I'm saying? Instead of action, I can't believe this. It's more of like setting up the first line. What is your moment before? What happened before you even start speaking? If you found out you won $1 million, it's like, I won. It's like the moment before. I won? Like what? Like set that up. And then after you're finished, oh my God. So that's an example. Next, we have take your beats. A lot of actors, they get the script and they're afraid to take beats. If I say hello, and my next line is, how are you? And I go right into the spiel, I just ask that person, how are you? Let them respond. And if they're responding, I need to take a beat. So be aware of where my beats are. Where do I breathe? Where do I think? You know, and incorporate that, you know, unless it says specifically, I need it to be 30 seconds, speed through it. You know, we're natural, take beats, you know, so keep that in mind. What is your point of view? Going back to character breakdown. If you have a script, it is important to have a reader at all times. Now, this is the same for anything. So if you go an in-person audition, you'll have the casting director, they'll have an assistant that you'll be able to connect with and read with, and they'll tell you where your eye line is. If you don't, and you're doing it at home, have a reader. Now, if you say, hey, I don't have someone else in my place that would like to read, or they're not an actor, that's fine. I use Duo, Zoom, I use Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and get one of my actor friends and say, hey, I'm sending you over the script. Can you read this part? And they'll read that part and I'll do the scene and I'll just make sure I have my eye line as I'm hearing them read me my lines. That has been completely fine, especially in this time, okay? So make sure you always have a reader. What I'm saying is do not record yourself doing the other person's line. Have someone else do it, okay? Back to point of view. Every character you play, they're going to have a point of view on who they're talking to. Everyone. So if it is a person that comes to you with a beautiful puppy, but you're allergic, but that's your boss. So it's like, I'm great. Yeah. No, I'm good. Good. Yeah. No, everything's fine. Thank you. So it's the point of view of like, I'm respecting you as my boss. I don't really like the dog. So always have a point of view, okay? Make sure it's specific. So if you say to yourself, okay, I have 3 people in the scene, what are my point of view? Are they with me? Are they not with me? What do I want from them? Okay, so make sure you are clear on your point of view. All right, moving on. What do you want them to feel? Now, I like using this example. So when you go out on a date, just got married last year. So when you go out on a date, I met my hubby. I wanted him to feel comfortable. And I wanted him to feel welcomed, right? Accepted. So if I'm sitting down, I don't think this says welcome and accepted. Or I can sit down. Hi, I'm good. How are you? Good, good. Cecily, nice to meet you. No, I actually live 20 minutes from here. I'm light, my voice changes. There's a personality about me because that's my point of view on this person. I think he's handsome, he's tall. Um, maybe I like his smile. So I'm giving those vibes out. Now there are times when you don't want this person next to you. No, thank you. No, I actually said no, thank you. Thank you. My point of view. Someone that just saw that, maybe like whoever that person is, she doesn't like them. Okay. So when you're doing an audition, be very clear. What's my point of view? How do I want to make them feel? This person, I probably made them feel, you know, belittled. I probably made them feel less than, you know, I probably felt entitled to make them feel, you know, lower than me. Okay. So have those things in mind. I have these characters. How do I make them feel? What's your objective? So an objective, it's very clear that it's very simple. People actors try to complicate objectives. Objectives are simple. It could be something as simple as I'm out on a date with my now hubby, and I know he's handsome. He's handsome, he's tall, he has a nice smile. And maybe by the end of the night, I just, you know, maybe I want to kiss. I had a great time. Yeah, I would love to see you again. You know, I actually did this. So it's leaning in, it's letting him know I'm here, I'm open, I'm into you. It's my heart is open. So my objective is I want you to kiss me, or I want you to ask me out again. Versus I still don't understand why you're still here. I'm not being rude. I've asked you to leave many times and you still haven't. You're still here. I don't want to, no. I don't want to hear you keep talking. Stop talking. Yes, I've been wanted you to go. Why are you not gone? Thank you. Bye. My objective is get out. I don't want you here. You need to leave. Objectives are simple. Every audition has a very simple objective. Ask yourself, what do I want from this person? I want to kiss. I want you to leave. I want you to hire me. I want you to take me on this trip. I don't want you to punish me. What is your objective? The clearer you are, the better your audition will be. Moving on. Connect with your reader. Now, we talked about having a reader, and sometimes you may not have a person in person. Thank God I have my husband. He actually helps with my auditions. But sometimes people don't have people they can call up, or not call up, but have someone in person, so they have to call up someone. So it is very important that you give the person, your reader, just a little synopsis of what the character, who the character is, what their character is, and how you guys relate to each other, just so they can kind of give you something versus it being a dead audition. Okay. So it's just very important that you let that person know that your reader, hey, can you, kind of snap at me at this point, and I can respond to that, because honestly, the camera's on you. So your response to whatever you're getting is important. What you don't want is someone that's flat and you're just trying to act over them because it looks like you're overacting. So really try to help clarify the scenario to your reader. That's very important. All right, moving on to monologues. Now, when it comes to theater, film, monologues are, the simple way I put it is, if you are in a situation and you are not having, you don't need a reader because it's just you doing all the talking, everything I mentioned still applies. You still have a point of view, you still want them to feel something, and you still have an objective. That doesn't change just because you don't have someone on the other side responding, okay? So it's very important that you have the moment before, what's happening before I speak. You have your body, you have your spaces in between, your breathing of like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of you looking at me like this. Prime example, I'll give you an actual audition that I actually do for an audition. I'll give you an actual monologue that I actually do, so. What I don't have, what I want to know is if you're so real, Lydia, then what are you doing here? If you're so much better than me, then why even bother? You can just wait it out and I'll drift away like some piece of paper. Like nothing, right? Because that's what I am. Nothing. Right? What an amazing snap you're all doing to the world. And I buy it. I mean, we all buy it. My family, they live in hell. They spend their entire lives wishing that they were somewhere else, wishing that they were rich, sober, or clean, and I did it. I did it. I moved to Boston. I work at a law office. I'm a big success story, and they have no idea what that means. It means instead of getting harassed by jerks at local bars, now I get harassed by guys in suits. Aha, yeah, guys with glasses, guys who talk nice, guys in suits. So you know what I have to say to all of you? Shame on you. Shame on you for thinking you're better than the rest of us. Shame on you for being mean to me. Shame on you, Lydia. So that's an audition that I do, Spike Heels. I love that piece because it just goes everywhere. And having a point of view, taking that journey, taking the time, getting the objective. I wanted her to apologize. Shame on you. Shame on you for thinking you're better than the rest of us. You think that working at a corporate office is better than when I was working at the club? It's not. They just got a suit on. That's my inner monologue. That's things I'm telling myself as I'm doing this. So anytime you're doing an audition and you're doing a monologue, have the journey. Have the journey. A monologue is about, maybe a minute long, depending on, who it is. And you don't want to come out on top. You want to have it build. You want to have a build. You want to have, three-dimensional. You want to be a three-dimensional character. So you don't want it all to sound the same. You don't want to hit the top and stay up there. Hitting the top is when your emotion is it's going so crazy. You just stay up there and you ain't got nowhere to go. So have that journey. And if you hit the top, come back down, or maybe you go back up to it. Like just find your colors. Okay. Very important. Do not be afraid to make bold choices. A lot of times the actors, they play it safe. They play it safe. What is playing it safe? It's just, doing what's asked, true. But make a choice. Make a choice. Every situation, improv situation, the things that I've done, I'm like, you know what? I may want to just be like, if someone is telling me I want $1 million, it's like, my example, like maybe I'm thinking of, my mother buying her a house, buying my family a house. Like that's my bold choice of like, what is the buildup? So make bold choices when you do auditions. Don't just come in and just read it for what it is. Make a choice, okay? And the beautiful thing about a director is that they'll say, hey, okay, I like that. Keep that. Let's do this. Okay, maybe not that. Let's do this, or more of this, less of this. They will guide you. But if you come in with something, they can shape it. Okay. So come in with something. Don't be scared. All right. With monologues, it is very important that you visualize who you're talking to. It's easy when you have a reader because you can see the reader. It's easy when you have someone on the phone because you realize, I was like, oh, my friend Jack, I'm talking to Jack. He's on the phone. You visualize he's there. But when you have a monologue, sometimes people are just talking to thin air. No, visualize who this person could be. All right. It is very important. So my dear friend that I went to graduate school with, I used her for that monologue that I just did. And so when I do that monologue, she's the person I visualize. I visualize her versus just visualizing nothing. So have someone in your head like, okay, I'm doing a monologue. Who could this person be? Is it someone in my family? Is it an uncle? Is it a brother? Who could this person be? So visualize. Last but not least, and I would love to hear some questions if you guys have some. Objective, objective, objective. I said it many times. I don't care if the audition is a commercial, if it's something simple, what is your objective? What do you want? What do you want that person to say or do? Do you want them to leave? Do you want them to kiss you? Do you want them to say, hey, I'm sorry? Simple, simple, simple. Okay. So that is what I had for audition technique. I would love to see if there's any questions. You guys can write it in the comments or you can ask. So I would like to take this time to see if there's any questions. Okay, and that's totally okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this time. I love what I do. I always try to say if I want to leave actors, young actors, beginner actors, doesn't matter. I would say, remember that this journey is a marathon, not a sprint. People see the glitz and the glamour, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. Prime example, you look at the athletes of Tokyo and then what they had to go through and the 4 years that they had to prep for this 60 seconds, 90 seconds. Us as artists, it's a prep. It's a prep. When we go into that audition room, it's an opportunity. Don't take rejection as, oh, they don't like me, I'm terrible. You have no idea why they don't choose you. Never think you're not good enough just because you didn't get the part. It could be something as simple as, we cast a guy that's 5'5". This girl is amazing, but she's 5'8". It could be something simple as that. Or they say, hey, we have these two people as parents. This kid is great, but he doesn't look like their kid. And this kid may go home thinking he's not good, but it's not that. It's just that he doesn't fit in the family. So keep in mind that no matter what, take auditions as a gift. Like, I have an opportunity to show my gift for this 60 seconds, this 90 seconds. Okay. All right. So that's one of my things. And surround yourself with positive people. This industry is full of no's. A lot of it, rejection, no's, can't do that. Whatever. People are going to say what they want to say, and that's okay. They have their own things they're going through. Everyone's journey is different. There's no blueprint to what we do as artists. I had a lady, she came to me at 90 years old. Her name is Dorothy Steele. Look her up. 90 years old. She comes to my class. Now, if you are 90 years old, I'm going to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I just got that type of respect. If you're older than me, that's just how I grew up. And she said, I came here to act. And I said, yes, ma'am. Now, mind you, my students are mainly 30, 40-year-olds, maybe some 50-year-olds, but she's 90 years old coming to my class. And I said, okay. She's like, I want to act. I said, yes, ma'am. Okay, come on in. Dorothy Steele auditioned for just a little budget film called The Black Panther. And she booked it. She booked one of the elders at 91 years old. She got on Steve Harvey. She was on all these other different shows at 92 or 91 when she actually booked it. And she said that, I never thought at this age I'd be able to do it. And that's the beauty of what we do as artists. There's no age when it comes to what we do. I don't care how old you are. It's no age. So when I say 90, the people that are around their 60s and 70s can't say anything. You know, look at Morgan Freeman when he got his big hit, you know, at 50, 60 years old. It doesn't matter. If you want to do this, you can do this. Okay. There's some place for you to do this. So I hope that encourages all the students and everyone that gets to see this. Thank you so much again. My name is Cycerli Ash. I had a joy and a blast being with you today, and I'm going to turn it back over to this company.